welcome to the Double J podcast presented by Lake Central Media. Once again, Jack and Giovanni back, and what a week it was. I mean, this was one of the most entertaining weeks in sports probably so far on our podcast, Giovanni. And of course, our annual start to the show, our weekend's top takeaways. Giovanni, take it away.
Well, I know Jack has been anxiously waiting to say.
I'm gonna wait because I don't know how long I can say it. But I'm gonna let you go. I'll let you go.
What I was about to say was that I feel bad making Jack wait longer, so I'm just gonna make this short and sweet. Kirk Cousins is 4-24 against teams with a winning record, but the Vikings paid him $84 million guaranteed. That to me is so ridiculous. Listen, I've defended Kirk Cousins a lot this year. I really have. I can't defend the man anymore. Last night, he scored 7 points against the Seattle Seahawks, and that was all in garbage time. And you know what? I'm even more bitter because he threw to Dalvin Cook to get that touchdown. And Dalvin Cook was my points player. All Kirk Cousins had to do was throw a touchdown for me. That wasn't a Dalvin Cook, and I would have won my fantasy game. But that's beyond the point. Kirk Cousins, they absolutely overpaid for him. I know Jack is anxiously waiting, so I'm going to let him have the floor. Jack, take it away for us.
All I got to say is Bears. That's all I got to say. I mean, this Sunday night was one of the greatest moments as a Bears fan, I got to say. It was the biggest game we've won. And I don't know how many years we've had the chance to win a big game like this, and we actually prevailed. I just got to say, what a game. I feel like that was the best win in the NFL this year. The Bears' defense the offense was pretty bad. Don't get me wrong. Trubisky had his worst game in a career in my mind, but he was coming off that shoulder injury. But this defense is something that needs to take notice. And the thing is, everyone compares, Cowboys beat the Saints, now they're going to go to the Super Bowl. How about the Bears? Just held the best offensive team to not even one touchdown, 6 points, and held not anymore MVP candidate Todd Gurley, not even a touchdown. I don't even think he had over 50 total yards in general. I mean, I just gotta say it was one of the greatest moments for a Bears fan this past week for me.
I just want to say Todd Gurley. If anyone actually thought that he was
not
the
anymore.
MVP, no.
And we're actually gonna go right to that. The Bears and Rams. One of the hyped games, I should say. Beginning of the year looked like a beating, looked like a 30-point beating. Then time started ticking, and Giovanni, I want to go back to memory lane. A couple weeks ago, Bears and Vikings Sunday Night Football. Right here in this, you said Vikings are going to win. I said no, Bears will win because of the home crowd. Let's go back to last week. Who's going to win? You said the Rams, and I said no, and I said why? Because the home crowd advantage is too good for the Bears. You're not going to go to Windy City and beat the Bears, especially in the winter. Especially in the winter, you're not going to beat the Bears at Soldier Field. That's all I got to say, Giovanni.
This was an absolute statement win for the Chicago Bears. Listen, I've doubted them a lot this year, but they have proven me wrong at every turn. However, there were some things in this game I was not impressed with when it came to the Chicago Bears. As you said, Mitchell Trubisky looked off.
Shoulder injury. He's coming back. I understand, but he's coming back.
But the offense was not impressive to me at all. This team reminds me a lot of the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars from last year. Listen, this is my thing. I'm not saying that Mitchell Trubisky is not as good as Blake Bortles. Mitchell Trubisky is better
than Blake Bortles.
But I'm just saying, that Jaguars team won a lot of games with their defense. Remember that playoff game against the Bills last year?
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky was off. You're right. But I got to give credit to Jordan Howard. After everyone doubts him because Tariq Cohen's been, the head guy with all the yards and plays, Howard had 100 yards on the rushing game. That was the only thing working for the Bears on the offense besides that touchdown by the offensive lineman. But yeah, Trubisky had a bad game. He had three picks, the most I'm pretty sure in his career. Coming off the shoulder injury, I mean, that's a little rough. But you look at the rushing. I mean, he started the game with a run, and Jordan Howard had a big game. So, I mean, yeah, the offense needs to step up, but the defense showed that they can play. And, it's kind of tough to talk about this and ask this question, but are the Steelers okay after losing to the given-up Oakland Raiders in late seconds after Boswell slips on the game-tying field goal?
I just have to say, if I was a Steelers fan, our good friend Matthew Florida, Lake Central alumni,
yeah,
I can't imagine.
Good friend of mine.
I cannot imagine if my team lost a game like that
against the Raiders.
against the Raiders. I don't understand. Like, did Chris Boswell just forget how to football for like
that was his second missed field goal too.
It looked like Charlie Brown. To be honest,
it did.
You remember that? I'm sure you remember that.
That's probably your best comparison I've ever heard. I'll give you that one actually.
I don't think the Steelers can win a playoff game outside of Heinz Field, if I'm being honest.
It's just tough. You have Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. I understand James Conner was out, but that Samuels guy didn't do that bad of a job. I mean, it's not like he was terrible.
But it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
On the road, yes, but it's the Oakland Raiders. They have absolutely given up on the season. This has been an absolute disaster year for the Raiders.
And they fire their GM after a win.
That's unbelievable. He basically made the roster that got them to the playoffs a couple years ago.
I don't understand what happened. I mean, Giovanni, this NFL is just going in a weird direction. Place. And the Patriots, what is going on with them?
The Miami Miracle. I just want to say this. Gosh. If you have not seen the play yet, look it up. It's absolutely incredible. But there's one thing I need to say. Man. What on earth was Rob Gronkowski doing back there on the last play of the game? And there's a video, and I'm sure Bill Belichick absolutely had a field day with it. It's not the TV angle. It's someone on the field. I think it's someone in the stands taking a video from behind. It shows. I don't think Gronk was expecting to make a play. And why would they have Rob Gronkowski back there? They have someone like Julian Edelman. He used to play cornerback. Anyone else but Rob Gronkowski. I'm not saying that the man can't tackle, but oh my goodness, why?
I'll tell you.
That's an absolutely shocking coaching decision by the Patriots, no less. If this was any other team, maybe it would be believable. But it's the New England Patriots, Jack.
I'm going to go back against the memory lane once again. I go back to that Chicago Bears and New England Patriots game. Hail Mary down at the 1. Gronk did not play that game, but the thing was, Josh Gordon was back there and actually played a key role. I don't know why you have Gronk. I guess they expected Tannehill to have his arm that's not good this year. Throw some, I don't even know what kind of pass.
He would have to throw it 70 yards.
So I don't know why. I feel like Josh Gordon, like what they did against the Bears, that's what they should have done. But it's not just Gronk's fault. It's the whole Patriots. I mean, you had to stop one guy, and there was like 6 or I don't even know how many people right by him. I mean, you've got to stop Kenyon Drake right there. I mean, that's too easy. I mean, it's basically 1 against 7 or 6, like I was saying. I mean, if you can't stop him, what are you going to do? I mean, that's the second time that's happened to the Patriots. And the first time they got lucky, that was at the 1-yard line. But, I mean, hey, when the Patriots go out for some prevent defense, I'm kind of being happy about it if I'm the other team because they have a pretty bad prevent defense.
But, again, it's the New England Patriots. They're the best coached team in the NFL. How does that happen?
Maybe it's just the Tom Brady coaching, not the defensive coaching. And the NFC got, I shouldn't say shaking up, but it's kind of coming to a definitive teams. I mean, we look at the NFC picture, and we've got 2 teams tied at the first spot, but the Saints have the tiebreaker because they beat the Rams already. So Saints right now are it would run through New Orleans if in the NFC right now as the season would end.
And I just have to say, I don't think there's a team in the NFC that could beat the Saints at
I don't know about that. Yeah, that's hard. I don't Mercedes-Benz or whatever. I don't remember it's called. The Super Bowl.
I just don't see it.
I don't see it either. Second is the Rams. I think we saw this past week that they're very beatable. We saw that if you pressure Jared Goff and get to his head, that he's going to make some mistakes, and he did. Bears at 3. It's going to be, I say like a 5% chance to actually get home field advantage for more than the wild card game. I do expect them to win a division after this week. They just have to beat the Packers. Interesting. But
something they've had trouble with.
I feel like it's different now. They've had trouble winning the big games, and look at this. Next is the Cowboys. We fully expect them to win that division right now. Big game this week. They've got a lot of big games in my mind. I mean, they got a good defense. Amari Cooper is playing like the old Amari Cooper.
And who thought he would make this much of an impact?
I feel like he's going to make this much of an impact the whole season in my mind. I mean, you see him, and then you see Elliott, who got a little banged up late in the Eagles game, but still. And then you have the 2 wildcard teams. The Seattle Seahawks are most likely guaranteed in. They play, I don't know the order, if I'm wrong, the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Cardinals. So they expected to go 10-6. That's a good team. And then the final spot in my mind is not just the Vikings anymore. You still got the Panthers who are struggling but trying to make a statement. Who knows? Maybe the Redskins can make a statement.
The Packers aren't out yet, no.
They are out of the NFC North title picture, though. But yeah, the NFC is kind of definitive besides that last spot in my mind. Giovanni, what do you think about that NFC playoff picture?
The NFC playoff picture, again, if the Saints finish with home field advantage throughout
all they got to do is win out. All they got to do. And they have a tough game Monday night.
Yes, and they still have to face the Steelers.
I mean, I don't think that's that hard anymore. And I think it's at New Orleans, I'm pretty sure, as well. And then we go to the AFC, which is slacking, I guess is a word to put it. You have the Chiefs. That's it. But if we're being, okay, we'll actually say the title picture. You have the Chiefs. I'm not going in order. I don't remember it. Patriots, Texans.
And the Chargers have basically guaranteed themselves a spot.
And the Steelers, too, are still in the division lead. Only a half game up from the Ravens. Yeah, that annoys me, man. The Chargers are 10-3. They're a top 5 NFL team, and they're in the wild card.
And they're most likely, they might finish at
and they might have to play.
They have a big game Thursday, too.
And they might have to play the Texans. I mean, they should beat them. And then you got that last spot. Wow. You got the Ravens, you got the Colts, you've got the Titans, you got the Dolphins. I'd say the Broncos might have a chance. I'm not counting out the Browns, but hey, the AFC last spot is definitely going to be something these last 3 weeks of football.
And a big thing was the Indianapolis Colts beating the Texans this past week. The Colts started that win streak for the Houston Texans, and they also ended it. They got a big game this weekend against the Cowboys.
See if they can stay consistent. I mean, they lost against Cody Kessler. Then they come out, beat one of the best teams in AFC. That's the big thing. Can a team be consistent? I mean, at Lucas Oil against the Cowboys. I wouldn't sleep on the Cowboys. They've got
no one should.
It's a weird team. Like, they're going to do nothing, and then boom, right there. They're going to get like a 50-yard touchdown pass, and it's just weird.
Earlier in the year, everyone doubted them out. Or counted them out, I should say.
Yeah, everyone did, and I think Stephen A. Smith is still counting them out.
I don't think Stephen A.
He said that the game was rigged.
I'm convinced that the Cowboys could win the Super Bowl, and Stephen A. Smith still wouldn't give the Cowboys credit.
If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, I think he quits First Take. I think he will quit.
I think he should just be thankful Skip Bayless is at FS1 now.
Well, you got that Will King guy. He's a big Cowboys guy. And you got Max Kellerman. Everyone's going against Stephen A. Smith. And all the top teams we were just talking about are falling apart. The Texans lose. I'm not saying the Chiefs are falling apart, but they escaped. The Patriots, what?
Wow.
The Steelers. The Rams lose. The top teams are falling apart as we speak. What's going on? There's no consistency in the NFL anymore, really.
I think for the Rams especially, this was just an off week. It's at Chicago. It's in the cold. This is the worst game Sean McVay has had.
I don't think they expected to be like that.
And to be quite honest, I don't think that they're gonna have another game like this.
I think they will. I think if they meet up the Bears, it's gonna be the same story. I think so.
In Los Angeles,
I think so in Los Angeles. I think so.
I don't think so. At Chicago, which probably won't happen.
It could.
And then the Patriots, I never count the Patriots out. Bill Belichick is still.
I'm counting them out on Prevent now. I'll count them out on that kind of defense, that 3-man deep or whatever it's called.
That Madden 3-man deep with Gronk and playing center field.
Yeah, I don't understand. Hey, you could say I could have had Malcolm Butler. Whoops, not on the team anymore. But yeah, these teams just need to find their consistent spot, especially with these last 3 weeks left, I should say, playoffs. I mean, Giovanni, we got 3 big weeks left in the NFL. A lot of teams are going to be clinching playoffs, divisions, first round buys. Yeah. MLB, the White Sox are making moves as Bryce Harper now reports. Well, I shouldn't say he reports, but White Sox reporter reports. Bryce Harper is now warming up to the White Sox after having dinner.
Of course he is.
After having dinner reportedly with the White Sox. I don't know who it was with, but all I know is I know Hans down there, Reinsdorf's down there, and Kopech just left Vegas yesterday. Kopech has made it clear he will change his number for Bryce Harper. So for you Kopech jerseys, I'm sorry if Bryce Harper comes to the White Sox, but
Rick Hahn,
this
make it happen.
It's winter meetings, and the Chicago teams, I should say in general, love winter meetings.
This is where Rick Hahn shines, Jack.
Yeah, and you talk about Bryce Harper, they have given up on him and are now going to focus on Manny Machado. And the thing about the Yankees that they can't offer Machado the full $300 million. Do you think that's going to hurt the Yankees' chances?
Of getting Bryce Harper?
No, Manny Machado. They said they're done with Harper.
That is true.
But do you think not giving Machado a max contract will hurt their chances of getting him?
Absolutely. Manny Machado deserves a max contract. And
and I'm sorry, you can go, but I hate Manny Machado.
I don't like Manny Machado as a player, or I love him as a player, but as a person either. But the White Sox need a player like that.
They do. And there's also the Phillies. And next thing is, where does he go? Where does Bryce Harper go, Giovanni? Realistically, let's not show bias here. Let's be realistic.
Realistically, I would say he probably has a better chance of going to the Phillies than the Chicago White Sox.
I agree with you. I think the Phillies have made more of an attempt after acquiring Gene Segura. I think they really showed that they're in it all this year. It'll be nice. The White Sox, I mean, both of them are going to probably offer the same amount of money because both of them have low payrolls. It's just going to be, where do you want to go? Sox or Phillies? What do you see better for you? And I feel like if you go to the Sox, his first year is just going to be like how it's been on the Nationals. But I feel like if he goes on the Phillies, that's a division win right there for them in my mind.
Absolutely.
And it's tough for a White Sox fan to say that, but I've said it since 2 months ago, honestly. It's the White Sox or Phillies. That's it. And now it's time for Fact or Fiction. We've had a lot of things, actually, that have happened this past week that we want to know about. Kyler Murray, after winning the Heisman Trophy, has said, I'm still going to play in the MLB. Is expected to get $8 million guaranteed. 8th pick in the first round against with the Oakland Athletics. Giovanni, do we see a Kyler Murray in the NFL?
I think I see a team drafting Kyler Murray, maybe in the third, because
he's not entering the draft yet.
But remember, they can draft him in about the third, fourth round and have his rights. That is a thing.
I don't think he will. I think he's going to stick to baseball. I think he's made it clear that this quote was said, where can you see football players that have played 15 years or more? It's very rare.
Fine. Especially the way he plays.
And if he's guaranteed $8 million right out of college to go, and he's already on the team, so it's not like he's like hoping on something. He's already on the Oakland A's, top pick. The A's family already loves him. I mean, I think he's just going to stick with Oakland.
I see no reason for him to leave at this point.
We've seen, dual sport athletes. Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Deion Sanders, Tim Tebow. But, I don't see him going to the NFL.
I just want to say this, too. The people who actually believe that is only the specializing in only one sport in high school or at any level.
No,
that's not a thing.
He's taking a team to he's won a Heisman. He's taking a team to the college football playoffs, and that's not even his major sport. All I gotta say.
So yes, that mentality needs to go away. The Bulls will get a new coach before the All-Star break.
I hope they get a new coach. I mean, if you want to watch Jersey Shore, what should we call the Chicago Bulls? The Windy Lakefront show or something like that. I don't even know, man. It is like drama in that place. And this coach has not handled it perfectly at all. And I say you got to go in college and find a coach. I mean, yeah, Fred Hoiberg did not work out great. Bring back Phil Jackson. Bring him back.
No. Jack, you don't want to
bring Phil Jackson back.
Fact, the Bulls absolutely will get a new coach. This is an absolute disaster. We're going to touch on it later, but apparently these players are making it sound. They use the term extreme tactics. My goodness, I just have to imagine. Is he doing military training in these practices?
That's what Notre Dame did in their off season.
But this is in season, Jack.
I know. I don't understand what they're trying to do here. Big Ben got hurt against the Raiders. Joshua Dobbs, Tennessee quarterback, came in. Is it the end of the Big Ben Roethlisberger?
I don't think it's unrealistic to think so, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's a fact. I think he's done. I think he's not capable enough of leading a team to the Super Bowl, or if you want to be, division. I mean, they're struggling right now. We see it. I don't think he's the quarterback they need. I think maybe this year they draft maybe my favorite quarterback in the draft class, Will Grier. I love to see that.
Okay.
I love Will Grier, but I'd love to see the Steelers take him. I do feel like the end of Big Ben is coming. It sucked to see that, Giovanni. I mean, Big Ben's been one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And to see one of those guys go down, I mean, it's just watching like Rodgers retire or Brady retire, or I'll go to someone that's actually retired, Brett Favre
Peyton
or Peyton Manning. I mean, it stinks to see someone so great just, go. But, I mean, Father Time is just saying.
It's undefeated.
Yeah.
You know what they say.
The White Sox will spend the most money this offseason.
Facts.
I think really it's going to be Bryce Harper. That's it. I don't know because Bryce Harper's $300 million. I don't know who else they'll get. I hope they do spend the most money because it shows the Sox are willing to win right now. I don't know if they are, though. I think the Phillies could be also a big spender. I mean, the Sox have the second lowest payroll, and one of the lowest payroll teams are actually fighting for a player, And Rick Hahn said an interesting quote to me. Oh, not to me, to Comcast. He said, you have free agents like this year. You never can trust a player to go into free agency or big-time players like these. Like we said, Bryce Harper may be the greatest free agent of all time. He could be. It's debatable.
That's bold.
It's debatable. But like I'm saying,
it's still bold.
Free agents like this don't come and go.
That is true.
So Rick Hahn said that. He said, yeah, we're going to be aggressive. I mean, you don't see these guys in the free agent, not like the NBA. You don't see these guys come out every day. I mean, look at Stan. He had that huge contract. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get an extension as well by the time it ended that. But the thing is, I think the Sox, I don't know if they will spend the most, but I hope they do. Amari Cooper was worth it. I mean, that's a fact in general.
How could he not be? Have you seen? I'm pretty sure the Cowboys have only lost once when they've had him. And is that all on Amari Cooper?
I think.
No, but the offense clearly is just taking a complete U-turn since they got Amari Cooper.
I think
it's night and day.
I think last game against the Eagles really defined that he was worth it. We only seen one big game, was that Thanksgiving game against the Redskins. But I think this past week, the 3 touchdowns, touchdown overtime, I think it showed that Jerry Jones was right about something. He was right for once.
People were saying a few weeks ago, is Dak Prescott really the guy?
He's not. I don't think he is, but I really don't think Dak Prescott is the guy. I think he's better because of Elliott. I think that's true.
That's an argument.
I don't like Dak Prescott. Will there be one undefeated team in college basketball? We'll go by the end of regular season, entering March Madness.
I think so far no team is absolutely unbeatable, so I'm going to go Fiction.
UCF. No, there's not. I think what we learned in the tournament last year after UMBC beat Virginia, anyone's beatable now. We're in the world of college basketball where it's so unpredictable of what can happen. And it goes the same with girls' college basketball as well. Notre Dame, they weren't expected to win any of those last 2 games. But I think we're in the world of college sports where nothing is predictable anymore. Let's say, okay, Duke loses to Yale. I mean, okay, we'd be surprised. I'm not going to get wrong. But it's not like we're freaking out about them. March Madness has shown us any team is beatable in college basketball and college sports in general because college athletes are not consistent.
Okay, but Jack, if Duke lost to Yale,
I wouldn't freak out. I mean, Yale was talked about a little bit, but okay, I'll go to better things. Syracuse over Duke.
That's not ridiculous. Okay, yeah. Yale over Duke is.
I know. I realize that, but I realize every team is beatable now in college basketball, and we saw it, the 16-1. I might take a 16-1 in my bracket this year. And now we go to the NBA, and the NBA is heating up. And one thing heating up is DeMarcus Cousins, as he is now with the Warriors G League team, as he's getting ready for his debut with the Golden State Warriors, Giovanni.
Jack, do you remember the day that you read DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Warriors?
Yeah, I do. And I said the one thing to my head. I'm not even joking. The Warriors just got worse. I'm serious. DeMarcus Cousins is one of the crappiest players I've ever seen in my life. Same with Draymond Green. You have 2 cheerleaders on one team. And you got Kevin Durant, who's a snake as well. I don't think they're going to get better from this. I'm serious.
I have to see how they play. I don't think the first few games he plays is going to matter. Obviously, they're going to go on some hot streak, and people are going to say, wow, look at the Warriors. They have – I mean, you could argue that last year, this starting five that they would have, it would be Curry, Thompson, Durant, Draymond Green, Boogie Cousins at center. You could argue that's better than any combination of players in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but I still don't think you have the three.
But it's about the five players who play best together.
You have the three girliest basketball players on a basketball team: Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins.
Bold.
All three of them probably lead the league in flagrants last year and getting kicked out of a basketball game. I mean, I don't think they're going to get better. I'm serious. I think there's going to be a lot of drama. Talk about drama and stuff, but the Warriors are going to have the second most drama. The first most drama is what we were talking about earlier. Chicago Bulls debated on showing up at practice.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
I just want to get this fact piece right now.
In a professional sports league.
The Bears have more wins than the Bulls. I just want to say that. Now, Giovanni, you can take your take on this. I just want to say the Bulls have less wins than the Chicago Bears. Realize, the Bulls play almost every day. The Bears play only 1 week, on 1 day a week.
All right, Jack, a little quick. Fact or fiction, the Bears will finish with more wins this year than the Chicago Bulls.
That's fiction because the Bulls play 82 games. If the Bears played 82 games, then I'd take the Bears most definitely. But
I don't know, Jack. The Bulls are pretty bad.
I mean, if you go 16 games, the Bears won that. So hey, but yeah, it's bad. Yeah, frying Fred Hoiberg was the right move. Don't get me wrong, but this coach has
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, the front office are a bunch of. I'm not going to say that. I can't stand those people in the front office. I can't stand the coach. I can't stand how this team is reacting. This team has a lot of talent. You have Wendell Carter Jr., one of the most promising centers in the league. Lauri Markkanen, who was just an absolute bad man last year. Chris Dunn, who's hurt right now. Jabari Parker, who has played good. Zach LaVine, who is having an MVP season. I mean, what is happening?
I really don't know with the Chicago Bulls anymore. It is absolutely ridiculous how much this team has fallen off. Listen, I expect them to be awful this year. I did not think that players were...
I thought they would make the playoffs signing Jabari Parker.
Okay, that's a little bit absurd. But the Chicago Bulls have fallen off so much. Think about it, Jack. Players are debating showing up to practice. Have you ever heard of that in any professional sports league? I've never heard of that in my whole life. Not once.
I've done that once in my LCYB practice. I debated on showing up to practice. That's not professional. But, no. Yeah, that's pretty crappy of the Bears. Not the Bears, the Bulls. In general, you got to fix this. I don't know if it's counseling or couples, whatever, but you need to figure out what is happening. I mean, we're not even to All-Star break, and people are debating on showing up to practice. And when
we're not even close to the All-Star break.
When Zach LaVine is having an MVP in my mind season, I don't know. And Nuggets, who are actually one of the top teams in the West, I think just made one of the most interesting moves. Nick Young is now a Denver Nugget. Mile High. Nick Young now in the Nuggets. Giovanni, were you surprised to hear that?
Jack, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. When you wrote Nick Young on the Nuggets on this script that we have here, I didn't even know it was a thing until right now, to be quite honest. The Nuggets, I think, can win a playoff series.
Yes, they can. And more interesting NBA news, the Rockets are interested in, guess who? Just guess one person they're interested in.
I actually have no idea, but I did hear the Lakers are interested in trading Trevor Ariza.
The Rockets are interested in J.R. Smith. It gets worse. We're the Rockets.
I want everyone to think about this. We haven't discussed it on the show. A professional NBA player didn't know the score. It is his job. He gets paid millions of dollars to know the score. He didn't know the score.
I think he knows all the tattoos on his body more than that. I mean, he has a lot of tattoos. But yeah, you're talking about the Lakers. Big win last night in my mind. LeBron and Wade's probably final meeting together. That's sad to see. The Lakers are heating up. They're heating up, and I think they're going to get dangerous by as time goes. And Giovanni, you put this on the script, and I kind of got off guard by this. You have some soccer news you want to talk about. I actually do want to say one thing. You guys, Atlanta won the MLS Cup. Congratulations to them. That's the first championship in Atlanta in a long time. Funny to see a soccer team win it before the football team, but
forget that. I mean, Atlanta United is...
Yeah, that I want to. I watched the game a little bit. That is one of the greatest atmospheres of soccer I've seen in a long time in the U.S.
And it is great to see the sport growing so much here in the U.S.
But it looks like you have UCL. Looks like
Champions League Tuesday and Wednesday, or today and tomorrow. It's going to be the last group stage game in Champions League. The big storyline right now is Group C. Napoli, PSG, Liverpool, and I'm going to butcher this other team's name. They're out. So
I'm a big PSG guy.
So it really doesn't matter. But Liverpool have to play against Napoli today. Wow, I can't say that name. And that's going to be big because there's a good chance that PSG or Liverpool do not advance. I don't even want to imagine if PSG do not advance.
I think they do. PSG has Neymar, and I can't even say the dude's last name. I can't. How do you say his last name?
What are you trying to say?
Mbappe or something like that.
Mbappe?
Wow. Those two are studs. I mean, I don't watch soccer that much. I did watch the FIFA World Cup, and I do watch some soccer. But those guys are studs, and I feel like if you have two of those guys on the soccer team, I think it's just hard to stop them.
It absolutely is. And I just want to say this. If PSG do not advance today, this is such a disaster. PSG have spent over $1 billion in attacking players in euros.
That sounds like the Yankees almost. Spend all that money, you can't win a championship.
Neymar, Mbappe, Edison Cavani.
That's almost like that almost is like the Yankees. Chapman, Judge, Stanton, who else?
They signed Buffon.
Gary Sanchez. Buffon. Yeah. So once again, if you guys didn't hear last week, we are doing a new segment called the Double J List. Last week we did the top 5 candidates for NL MVPs. This week, with 3 weeks left in the NFL, we're doing in order the top 5 NFL teams. And Giovanni, take it away with your top 5 NFL teams in order. So start with number 6 or 5. My bad, I can't count. Start with number 5.
Number 5. You know what? I'm gonna put the San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers there. The Chargers?
Wow, making those Chargers fans feel bad, Giovanni.
You know what? I heard Colin Cowherd say this the other day. If the Chargers win the Super Bowl, where are they gonna hold the parade? Los Angeles? No one. No. Have you seen?
Go back to San Diego at the Coliseum.
San Diego hates them.
Go back to the Coliseum.
LA resents them.
Well, they do have a new stadium being built.
Number 4, I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Really? Number 4?
Number 4.
Wow. That's a shock. Kansas City? Okay.
I get it. They're at the top of the AFC. They probably are going to have home field advantage.
A little shocked by that one, but okay.
Throughout the playoffs. But the reason I put them below New England, yes, New England's in my top 3. And yes, I know New England just lost to the Miami Dolphins. But Kansas City, I need this. Andy Reid, throughout the years, has just been shocking. Remember when they were up 38-10 against the Colts a couple years ago? Remember that? Remember when they choked
the Titans game?
Oh,
and wild card. Derrick Henry literally made them. Yeah.
Now, yes, Patrick Mahomes is better than Alex Smith.
Oh gosh, by like 200%.
And I will say this: if they do have to play New England at home, I would take Kansas City.
At Arrowhead or at Foxborough or whatever.
At Arrowhead, if they have to play
at Arrowhead, yeah.
If they get New England at Arrowhead, I do believe they can win that game.
So the Patriots are
but
3?
My question would be if Kansas City can get to that game.
So the Patriots are 3.
The New England Patriots are at number 3. I never count this team out.
So who's 2?
Number 2 is the Rams.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
The Rams, I don't take much out of the Chicago game. It's the worst. Listen, I do not take 1 week out of the entire season. I think they were averaging around 30 points a game.
They have never scored, I think, under 20 until this week.
I don't buy that this week is the buy-all, end-all of this season. I think the Rams will be fine. And number 1, the New Orleans Saints, because the only their losses are to the Buccaneers. That was the beginning of the year.
The Saints have 1 loss. Oh, wait, no, they have 2. Yeah, the Buccaneers.
And then they lost to the Cowboys on Thursday night a couple weeks ago.
I think the Buccaneers was at home, too, at New Orleans. No, okay, I'll go. Number 5, I go with the LA Chargers. They really impressed me in that Chargers game. Number 4, I got to go with the LA Rams. They did not look good last week. I feel like the young might kill them, but I did not like what I saw. Number 3, if you beat them, you're better. Chicago Bears are my number 3 team. If you beat them, you're better. And I got to take them over the Rams. I feel like the Bears are one of the hottest teams going in right now. Yes, they lost to the Giants. Chase Daniel was at quarterback. If you play the Bears at Soldier Field, and I know you can't just say at Soldier Field, this defense is the best in the NFL. When you have the best defense in the NFL, anything's possible. I mean, you have guys picking the ball left and right. You've got Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller, Roquan Smith. Congrats to you, man. Last person to do that was Brian Urlacher in the rookie year to get a pick middle linebacker. Congrats, man. And you got Prince Amukamara, who I thought was like old yesterday, but I found he's only 29. Number 2, I got to go with the Chiefs. I felt like last week against the Ravens, one of the best defenses in the NFL, Lamar Jackson, really that hot, spurt for the offense, and them coming back and winning. I know Mahomes almost choked with that fumble in overtime, but I feel like, them at number 2 is fitting. I mean, only losses are 2, the Patriots and the Rams. Stuff. Number 1 is the Saints. Drew Brees, MVP in my mind this year. Alvin Kamara, probably the top 5 quickest running backs in the NFL right now. Mark Ingram is a great backup. Michael Thomas is one of the best receivers in the league.
Underrated, in my opinion.
And you've got a lot of – and Drew Brees uses a lot of other receivers as well that you don't even know. Don't forget, they signed Dez Bryant. Brandon Marshall, I thought they signed him. I don't know where he is. Traquan Smith, I'm pretty sure is hurt.
I believe he only got a workout.
Cam Meredith, who was an old Bear, got hurt. So I go number 1 Saints, number 2 Chiefs, number 3 Bears, number 4 Rams, and I got to take the Chargers at 5. This week is the week we're going to see it. Chargers and Chiefs. Winner takes the
Thursday night football.
I shouldn't say about time there's a good game on Thursday night. I shouldn't say takes the division, but I'm certainly sure if whoever wins this game is going to win a division for the Chargers and Chiefs. I think so. I think that's
realistic.
I think that's fair to say. Where's it at? LA? Is it? I think it's at LA this week. I don't even know. I get lost on my weeks and stuff.
To answer your question, is actually at Arrowhead.
Oh Jesus. Good luck, Chargers. I will give you the best of luck. I hope the Chargers do win. They're the most complete football team, offense and defensively.
That's definitely a strong argument.
Phillip Rivers is playing like an MVP. I shouldn't say MVP, but one of his best years. Keenan Allen is a great receiver. You got Melvin Gordon. Austin Eckler's not bad either. Then we go on the defensive side. Ingram. Ooh. Bosa is I love Bosa. I think they're the most complete football team, but what I've seen in football is the most complete football team never wins, really.
This is true.
Georgia, they're the most complete football team in college football. I will make that.
But they lost to.
If I were saying 3 complete football teams in order, I'd go Georgia, Notre Dame, and Alabama, or Clemson actually. So, being a complete football team for some reason doesn't work out for you. I don't know, dude. Football is weird this year.
I can't believe Jack said Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're number 2 in the most complete teams. Oh, I can't wait. Next week will be our last podcast of the 2018 year. We'll be on break for about 2 weeks, and we're going to have a lot to talk about when we come back. Next time we come back, we're going to know the national champions. The playoffs will be figured out. Who knows? Bryce Harper could be signed, or maybe Machado.
I was about to say that.
Who knows what's going on in the NBA? But always follow us on Twitter at Double J Podcast to get all alerts of our podcast. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Anchor. Go give all these platforms a look and listen to our podcast. Come on, guys. We know you like sports, and if you like sports, you will enjoy this podcast. And like we always say, if you have a take, come on the show. And if you have a question, if you cannot make it, just ask us. We do fan questions. We haven't gotten them lately. Our second show, I should say, we had 3 fan questions. So come on, guys. I know you got some questions for us. I know you guys want to hear what we got to say. We know you disagree with us on almost probably everything. So
I'm sure there's people who disagree with me on basically everything.
If you disagree with us, let us know. Come on the show. We'll have an argument. We need some argument. We want some boiling hot
I'm sure people
beef.
Are sick of hearing our voices.
We want some beef on this show. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning into the Double J Podcast, presented by Lake Central Media.